Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, BNB, and XRP. Today is Top 5 Monday. We are going to look at the top 5 cryptocurrencies in the market right now and see what is happening, and we're going to monitor them week by week. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro, featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008. Been trading currencies for over 15 years, now focus on crypto. So let's dive straight into coin market cap. Now, top number one is Bitcoin. We know that market cap is $1 trillion, just over $1 trillion. Ethereum with 421 million in market cap. Cardano has bumped up one space. Last week they were fourth. This week they're third with $71 billion market cap. BNB is 70, so they're going to be chopping and changing. You can see they're almost identical, a few percentage points and it'll move. And we have a new fifth place because we're not counting Tether. Tether is a stable coin. We have XRP with 55 billion, had a nice 13% upward movement the last week. And Solana has dropped out of the top 5. We might do a quick update on Solana just because it was in the top 5 last week. So let's dive in straight into the analysis. So let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, what we said last week, the video that we did literally a week ago, we said, look, the weekly momentum has changed. It went from bearish to bullish. The blue line's over the red, which means we should anticipate upward movement now. We're anticipating further downside. We pegged that little mini top and we got a nice 50% correction to that last swing. And we were anticipating further movements to the downside. But as soon as the momentum changed, hey, look, the probability, because we are in a probability game, not a certainty game, and the probability has switched. And we said what we should anticipate is we've seen this 1, 2, well, looks like a nice wave 3. We should get some type of correction and break the previous swing high. So let's dive into Bitcoin. Let me dive into the daily chart. In fact, let's just quick reminder with the weekly chart, top left. The main thing I wanted to focus on with this weekly chart is the blue lines over the red. You can see, we're getting upward momentum. So the trend is up, right? The trend is up. And we want to be able to act objectively and non-emotionally. And I know it's an emotional game, fear of missing out, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But we want to have a mechanical, objective system that can help us. Now, we just zoom in over here. This was the analysis from last week. If I just dive back in, look at this. So what we said was, if I can bring this up over here, yeah, this part here, we should expect some type of correction and then bump and break this previous high. And that's really, really important that we anticipate the high probability moves. And we're talking about the momentum also. And what has happened since? Well, we did get a bit of a pullback, but look how small it was. And this is a sign of bullish behavior. This was a small pullback. Was anticipating a bit more, but it was a small pullback. And even the momentum, as the momentum was going down, the market. So if I look at it down here, the momentum's going down, but the price is still going up, right? So that will just tell us that there's a lot of bullish behavior in the market, which is great. So we can be really confident now because we have broken that previous swing high. Let me just identify that for you here, which was this. This is the one that we're referring to. Bang. But not only that, look at this. We've also broken the other swing high over here as well. And we said that a couple of weeks ago. I said, look, this is what we want to see. If we break this swing high and then definitely this swing high, that is the major confirmation that we've got a trend reversal and sideways to up. Now, there is a couple of things that I wanted to quickly identify. Best practice is actually saying this. I'm gonna elaborate in a second. Because sometimes I'm thinking I'm making myself clear, but sometimes it might not be as clear as I'm thinking I'm making myself. We've had this movement to the downside over here with Bitcoin. This major movement. It's been quite impulsive, but in crypto, sometimes it ends up being the end of a correction. And even though it's impulsive, it can be. But there's also the possibility we might be having an A, B, C correction, and it's really only until this high is taken out that we can really, really anticipate. But what I want to do today, rather than getting fixated on that, because it's not really relevant right now, what's really relevant right now is the immediate price action. So what is happening over here? So it looks like we've got some type of 5-wave structure over here, and it's not as clean. And we don't want to force a count, but it does look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we look like we're finishing off a 5. But we do have a bullish reversal happening. So when you got momentum pointing up on a weekly and on a daily, you're only looking for sideways to up movements because we haven't had a big pullback, not bigger than this pullback anyway. So to finish off the sequence, this movement to the upside and be confident that we're in a corrective phase, we want a movement to the downside that's bigger than this. That's called an overbalance of price. And we haven't seen that yet. These are tiny little pullbacks, which is a continuation of the current trend. But I would patiently wait for the next bearish reversal and then anticipate some type of correction. We should get some type of correction. But rather than just kind of pegging any kind of numbers, we don't really have a really clear pattern over here. But I would wait for, what's this? The price was 44,600 down to 41,000. So what's that? It's around $3,000, $4,000 move to the downside. I would wait for that, get some type of corrective behavior, and then there will be some type of good potential further long opportunities over here. But right now, it's looking great. Bitcoin's looking healthy. Like we're waiting for this, and it's bringing a lot of optimism back to the whole market. You know, we're seeing a nice similar structure. In fact, let's finish on one last thing on this one. We've got 5 coins to cover today. I like to look at the market of what's the minimum that the market should do if we're wrong. So let's just say we are confident that the next high is going to be broken. But what is the minimum that the market should do if we're wrong? So we've got this 5-wave sequence over here. And the minimum that the market should do is 62 to 100% of that amount. And you can see it's testing the top. So this is going to be a key crucial zone for Bitcoin over here. Do we break? Do we get to break this zone here? I think we might even see that top. The fact that the daily momentum now is bullish and the weekly momentum is bullish, we may end up testing this high over here, the previous former high of Bitcoin. But are we going to break it? We need to see a nice big clean break of this to be confident that we've got a continuation of the trend. And then we can be confident to say this is an unusual corrective wave because it looks more impulsive than corrective. But we need a break over here. So sideways up for the next week, 3, 4, 5 days. And we may get a retest of this 64,000 mark. If we break it, boy, I think we're going to move into that mania phase where there's going to be really lots of positive news, lots of money flooding into the market. And that means good news for all altcoins. So we're going to be ready for that as well. So Bitcoin, we're going to keep it quite broad today. We don't need to, do anything other than look sideways to up. And if we do get a pullback bigger than this pullback down here, then we can reevaluate. But I think we might get some type of wave 4. It's not a clean structure. But yeah, it's close to this mark now. It's close to this mark. So we want to be prepared for that. So let's jump into number 2. What was number 2? Well, we are looking at Ethereum. Ethereum has jumped up 7% in the last week. It is now, price action is 3,600, $421 billion market cap. So just under half of Bitcoin. So let's look at the price action. So if we just jump into last week, the video on YouTube.
This is more than a mirror. This is a portal to your future.
Come on.
Introducing the
There we go.
Great bullish behavior.
Bang.
A lot of the markets.
So this was Bitcoin. Okay, let me just forward this video. There we go. Forward this video. Before I had it stopped in the right spot, but obviously not. With Ethereum, what we said was very similar to Bitcoin.
So here we're saying there's a 1, 2, 3, 4.
We've got this 5-wave structure unfolding. We'll probably get a retest, if not a break, of the all-time previous high of Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has a cleaner chart pattern than Bitcoin right now from an Elliott wave perspective. Now, if you haven't already, take my free Elliott wave and Fibonacci masterclass because I teach you how to read the markets like a pro, because the psychology of the market is represented in the patterns. And what we've got, which is pretty clear, much clearer on Ethereum, is this nice A, B, C correction. We've had this nice impulsive wave, a nice ABC correction, what we're calling a wave 2. And this was the part of the market that we were focused on last week. So if I just zoom in to get a nice update with Ethereum, this is what we said last week. We said, look, we should anticipate some type of correction with the momentum going to the downside and then another impulsive wave up. And the market has responded in kind. It went a bit higher, so this looks more like a wave 3. Looks like some type of wave 4 unfolding, and we should probably get a last leg up with Ethereum. With the momentum turning bullish over the next day or so, we should get some type of high. This is a cleaner structure in the sense it's a small wave 4, but it's a much cleaner wave count than the previous with Bitcoin. And Bitcoin and Ethereum tend to mimic each other. So what I would do on this one is a nice wave 5 price high. If this ends up being a wave 4 low, typical 2 price zones for a wave 5 high is the 62 and 100% of wave 1 to 3. You don't really need to know what that means other than, well, a pattern relationship is we've measured here to here and projected it forward from here, and that's what the red line is. And it just tells us that's the most typical common price impulsive moves. But don't be overly surprised, because in crypto, wave 5s tend to be very overextended a lot of the time, similar to commodity markets. So don't be too surprised if it overextends. So we're in a probability game here. So we want to look at the most common typical pattern buying and selling behavior, and then make objective decisions from that point onwards. Now with Ethereum, it looks like over the coming, maybe even the coming week, maybe even this week, next week, we're probably going to break the all-time high of, I think it was around 4,000, with the closing price was around 4,200 thereabouts. And we should probably at least retest it, but probably break it, get some type of mini correction, and then really break it. So Ethereum is looking very, very healthy. This low down here should hold. You know, where the opinion, this is the benefit of Elliott wave, you know, the psychology of buying and selling. Once you've got an opinion of the market, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed. It just means what would invalidate the wave count is if this low is broken, but we anticipate now that this low should be held. And the very fact that this high over here is now pretty much being broken, and then this high, once it gets exceeded, which is likely, and then the previous former all-time high, that's going to give this more credibility to say, look, this should hold. But we have got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, should get some type of wave 5 unfolding over the next 3 to 5 days. So sideways to up. Ethereum, the weekly momentum is bullish. Look at this over here. Top right, top left-hand corner is what I'm looking at. If I can just bring this over here. The blue line's over the red. That says the momentum is on the upside. It looks like the daily momentum on the right-hand side is gonna, 1 or 2 days, the blue line will go over the red, and that will just give us more confidence to look for long opportunities. Anything else I want to cover with Ethereum? Now, the main thing is that this high here should get exceeded, and we should anticipate price to at least get to the 4,200 mark, thereabouts, and retest that previous all-time high. And, we may get a correction of it. It's not that uncommon where you get a test and then you get a bit of a correction and then the next wave up to break it with solid confidence. So now's the time to be preparing not only for Ethereum, but other altcoins also. And by the way, if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. We're now over 4,000 subscribers. Can you believe in April, we only had, it was 5 in April. 5, we only started filming in April. So what is number 3? So Ethereum, sideways to up. It's really, really clear cut. Seems to be following Elliott waves really, really nicely to the T. So number 3 is Cardano. Cardano launched their smart contracts. I think it was the 12th of September. A lot of stuff happening on the Cardano ecosystem. The Adapad team, the Bluezilla team launched Astro Swap. I think it was last week. That I think is running at like 200x right now. So a lot of innovation happened on Cardano blockchain. Cardano has been ranked up. It was 4th last week, and now it's number 3. It's gone up 2.15%. But let's have a look at Cardano. Cardano. All right, this is BNB. Here we go. Cardano is number 3 over here. Right, so hopefully, let's see if the video.
Why should you
I
invest
paused
in
my video
stocks
from
on
last week,
eToro?
but it seems to have reset. So it is what it is.
I can invest in stocks with zero.
Great bullish behavior in a lot of the markets.
All right, let's just fast forward. Cardano, what do we say with Cardano?
Weekly, similar to red.
All right, so last week we talked about BNB next. Let's just fast forward. All right,
with Ethereum.
Let's go.
Again, just purely based on Elliott wave counts and Fibonacci. I would personally almost identical
make sure
Bitcoin.
the videos are
Wait for the next daily bullish
right
reversal,
spot. Right,
and
just
then
like this.
when you get
Let's
that,
just go to
typical.
because I normally use timestamps.
Let me just do it like
go
this.
straight to Cardano. There we go, Cardano.
No, they
All right,
released
here
the
we
smart
go.
contracts on the 12th of September.
So what we said with Cardano last week
onto the
was
Cardano. I think
we've had this
AstroSwap
nice
is one of them.
impulsive move,
But let's just
like
look at
really
Cardano
impulsive. Where there's
independently of
nice
everything
ABC
from a
correction.
total
We're calling this a wave
psychology
2 low down
standpoint.
here. And what we said
Range
was we've had a nice
and
impulsive move to the
7
upside.
bucks.
We got some
So
macro wave
today's
targets
good.
for the macro wave three. But more immediately, we said we should be anticipating a wave 2 correction. A wave 2 correction. And we want to see, right, where is the market now? Has it pulled back? We was at this phase, and what is it doing right now? So let's jump into a live chart with Cardano. Again, key thing with Cardano, again, with all markets, is what is the higher degree time frame doing? Now, the weekly momentum, look, the blue line has just crossed over the red, meaning the next 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks, we should expect sideways to up for Cardano. Sideways to up. This is a really key piece of information because we always want to be with the edge, and the edge is up. Right, when the momentum is up on the larger degree time frame, in this case we're using the weekly as the larger degree time frame, that means we're always looking for long opportunities. Now, then we want to combine pattern, price, and time analysis. So what we said with Cardano last week was, it looks like we've got this nice ABC structure. If I can get this over here. Why is this not clicking? Let's have a look. ABC structure. We said, look, this looks like a wave 2 of a wave 3, meaning that we've got this nice impulsive wave up. We broke the previous all-time high, and we've got this correction, and it's hit the 50% price retracement. We had this move, but it's kind of been moving sideways over here. And what we said last week was we want to be patient for the momentum to go down and then wait for the next bullish reversal. And it looks like that's going to happen in the next couple of days, because look at the momentum over here. If we just zoom in over here, get rid of these arrows. I know it's a bit choppy over here because it's getting the intermediate, then the micro swings. But what we want is a really clean, where the blue line goes over the red, and then we can be more confident the next 3 to 5 days are going to be sideways to up. So let's just look at the price. What does this look like? Now, again, what we said last week was this move is bigger than any previous move, which is an overbalance of price. Even though we haven't hit the time zone, we can be quite confident that this low should hold, right? It doesn't mean it's guaranteed to hold. This will invalidate this wave 2 of wave 3. Hence, we got this question mark. So I like to put a little line down here so we can see this should hold. That's what we're saying. We've had this nice pullback. It didn't break the low. A nice movement to the upside, and then a movement to the downside. So what I'm going to do with Cardano to help us is we're going to jump into an hourly chart, right? Because sometimes the swings, we'll keep it on a line data because sometimes it's easier to see. It's the same piece of information, but what we're going to look at here is this. Is there any valuable information that we can deduce from this section of the market? What can we see? Is there anything? What's the impulsive structure and what's the corrective structure? So what I'm seeing is this looks quite impulsive. This also doesn't look overly corrective, other than look like an ABC. This movement here looks very impulsive in comparison to this, which is quite choppy and a bit more corrective. But this also looks corrective. So it doesn't really give us a really clear indication on what we should expect. But if you're looking for a long opportunity, I would simply keep it very, very simple and go, look, if price breaks above this swing high, then that would be a good long opportunity. The weekly momentum is now up. The daily is looking like it's going to go up. And then if we jump over here, you can see that this bar on the daily chart and the weekly on the hourly chart is different. And what I mean by that is on the daily chart, on the hourly chart, we get the intraday swings, the intraday price action, whereas on the daily we do not. Right? Hence there's this big gap between here and here, which is okay, but we want to focus on the daily. So I would actually go, right, either this swing high or even this swing high. We want to see a nice clean break above this, and that should be a continuation of the upward trend. The only thing that would invalidate that is a break below here. It's not a very clean pattern though. This current sideways movement is not very clean. I like to see nice, clean ABC style pullbacks, more like this kind of pullback, this ABC pullback. They become much easier to trade. Yeah, so it's almost in this uncertainty zone. A lot of people call this a flag because it's moving sideways. Yeah, but I would look for a break above here with Cardano. But overall, the Cardano blockchain is doing so much great work, and it's looking like, from a macro picture, if we just kind of zoom out for a second, what's really, really clear is we've had this nice movement up, nice movement down, and we should only anticipate further upside movements because the weekly momentum is bullish. The key info is this swing high and then the former high over here. These two will be key milestones, but we want to look for entry points down here if you're looking to go long over here. And if you're using a stop loss, it should be no lower than this potential wave 2 or wave 3 low, because if the price goes down here, we need to reevaluate the wave count. Yeah, because remember, we're looking at probabilities here. Probabilities, not certainties. And if you haven't already, take my free Elliott Wave and Fibonacci masterclass. I've simplified this stuff so you can get help reading the markets, because sometimes it can be quite confusing. All right, what's number 4? Well, number 4 is BNB. BNB was number 3, I believe, last week, but right now is number 4. Market cap is 70 billion. It's roughly the same price. It says 0.16% down from last week. So let's look at BNB. Let's actually see the YouTube video from last week. Yeah, all
this
of them
one's the perfect gift for the friend who's been getting a little too comfortable during quarantine. Maybe your son, a father, or your boyfriend.
Okay.
Great bullish
all right,
behavior
let's go to BNB.
in a lot of the markets.
Show all.
If this is a wave 1
BNB
and a wave 2, I haven't done an update on this for a while.
All right.
And again,
there we go. So what we said with BNB, Binance Coin, is we had a nice movement to the upside, then a correction, and then on a more intermediate, like immediate time frame, we've had another move to the upside and another correction. And then if I can just zoom in over here, the question we had was, does this, very similar to Cardano, is this a wave 2, other wave 3, wait for the next bullish reversal down here, and we had some price targets, and we had a time target as well, and it's hit both of those. So we said, look, we should see a continuation of the upward trend, but for the short term, expect some type of pullback. Let's have a quick forward bump. We went to an hourly chart. Yeah, so we said we might see a little further movement upside, but the main thing to keep in mind is a pullback, some type of correction to the upward movement was what we're saying.
Noticed that a lot of people,
so let's
when
dive
I look at my private
into
Telegram
today's
group,
video. Today's chart. Again, bullish on the weekly. Look, the blue line's above the red. That's important for us to know. And if we just zoom right the way in, we don't need to cover everything again like we did last week. We said we're waiting for this, right? We've been patient. Wait for the next bullish reversal. Wait for a movement to the downside, which we've got. And now we can really reevaluate, is there a good buying opportunity? So let's now look at this. This one's a bit cleaner for us to look at. We just really focus on this part of the market from the 28th. Yep, 28th of September, the high of the 5th of October. And then as of yesterday, this low, is this a corrective low? And is this a wave 5 high over here? So let's just do two things over here. Firstly, we can see that the momentum is now bullish on the daily and bullish on the weekly, right? That means both momentum, 2 time frames are telling us upward movement. That's really, really key. That gives us high probability if we're going with the momentum. The trend is your friend right until its end, until it reaches its bend. Then we want to do a nice retracement. So typical retracements, if we take this low to this high, for correction, is we always anticipate a minimum of 50%. In strong trends, 38.2 is a key number, but that's more common with wave fours. So let me just dive in over here. Let me just quickly have a look at the hourly chart to see if there's any extra information that I can see. Yeah, because this looks like a really clean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an initial movement to the downside. So this is where it depends on your trade plan and your business plan. It depends how strict you are with your plan. And I would always wait for a 50% pullback because you'll get a better entry point. There's higher probability, but some only pull back to the 38.6%, 38.6%. So we've got momentum on our side, but we have not hit the 50% minimum typical correction. Doesn't mean it's not going to just continue. It just means more typically it's down here. But we can also get time. What's the time ratio? So if we take this low to this high, it does go right into the time ratio. Typical corrections happen between 50 to 100% of the previous swing up. So it's in the time zone. It's not in the minimum typical time price, but it is near the 38, which could be a sign. So if you're looking to go long on BNB, well, the swing high, this swing high would be a good consideration, which will give the first confirmation that this low may hold, and that's where your stop loss would be. I just want to let me look at a 4-hour chart. Just want to see one more thing. Let me just use the line chart again. In fact, we'll keep it as candles here. It's not very clean. Again, let's just go to the hourly again. Because what I'm looking for, what we want to be looking for, is a nice clean ABC correction. And over here, it's kind of like an ABC, right? It's got these movements to the downside. We got sideways. It's not a typical wave B. And then we got another move to the downside. And then this could be the continuation, or it could be just part of the correction. We don't know that right now. This is where you want to have proper risk management. But on a macro picture with BNB, weekly momentum is up, daily momentum is up. The macro picture is, we should see over the coming weeks this high getting taken out. So again, it depends on the type of trader you are. Some people are very intraday, coming in and out of the market within a single day, looking at 15-minute charts, looking at 1-hour charts, and others just looking at the swings, the big swings. I like to look at the big swings because that's where the big money's made. The big swings, the big money like this, these big swings, we've got this big swing up. So when you take the macro into account, you can go any entry point around here. If you're using a stop loss, it could be the maximum will be down here. We're looking for big movements to the upside. So this high should eventually get taken out. And we anticipate that this one is likely to get taken out also, which is a good thing from a bullish perspective. But right now, what we have from the information that we have at hand is the correction has not hit the typical price. It is in the time zone. The momentum is up and on 2 time frames. So you got enough information there to make a more higher probability decision. And then looking at a swing high entry point might be your best bet. Right, what is number 5? Number 5 with BNB XRP. XRP. So I forgot the same scenario. So we didn't cover XRP last week, but we covered it in a separate video.
Higher than average.
XRP analysis has been following Elliott waves really well. Here we've got the next
Welcome to the Click Money headquarters.
All right, 2,
the place where
1,
millionaires.
Boom. All right.
Is
and what we said in the last video with XRP was on a macro picture, we've got this, which can be quite nice correction to the downside, and we were unsure, is this going to be another leg up and then one more leg down, or is this the continuation? But now we've got more information this week, and it's going to be much clearer. So if we jump into a live chart, again, weekly momentum of XRP is bullish. You can see many coins are now bullish, right? Bitcoin's bullish, many coins are now bullish. There's going to be a lot of buying opportunities. Blue lines over the red, which is great. And then with XRP over the last week, let's just get rid of this for a second. Let's just zoom in over here. Look at this. Now let me just get rid of all of this so we can just clean this chart up. So we've broken that high. Let's get rid of these. We don't need this right now. All right, the key information that we have right now, which we didn't have before. And by the way, XRP looks very similar to Bitcoin in this chart psychology right now. Typical wave Cs are 100% and maximum 1.618. That's the most common. And we've exceeded that now. So now the probability is that we are on track to do a wave 3. This is going to be more of an impulsive structure. We've got this nice, what looks like a continuation of the trend. 1, 2, looks like a nice wave. 3, 4, 5 unfolding in this region. So we're probably going to get to this point, get some type of correction, and then a further continuation. We'll get more precise in a second. Key information though is this now looks like a very clear, now that we've got this extra information that we didn't have last week, A, B, C. And this is likely to be a wave 2 of a wave 3 now. Last week we did not know that. We still need to put a question mark here because it's not confirmed, but it's highly probable that that will hold. That will hold. Yeah, and so then we should see higher highs being made. The more recent high of XRP, we should expect to see that exceeded over the coming weeks. You know, this price of, what is it? Around $1.80, we should see that exceeded over the coming weeks. But more immediately, let's just bring up the daily momentum. Let's zoom in again. Yeah, we've got this nice movement here. It's following these waves quite nicely. Yeah, I would anticipate that this is going to be a wave 1, a wave 2. Looks like a wave 3 unfolding. Wait for a wave 4, and then a nice another leg up for a wave 5. So 1, 2. We can either see this as a 3, 4, 3, 4, and then we're doing a final part of a wave 5. If that's the case, the typical end of wave 5 zone would be $62 to 100% of wave 1 to 3. Right, so this zone over here, we should anticipate we may get the end of a fifth wave over here on a more intermediate wave count, and then naturally expect some type of correction, which will more than likely coincide with a bearish reversal on the momentum. And then on the next bullish reversal, expect a continuation. We're looking for buying opportunities. Now, what I would suggest looking for, if you're looking to add to your position, buy XRP, is looking for patterns like this. These are nice, clean ABC structures. And the next correction after this point, if it does unfold this way, and it is an if, we're in a probability game, not a certainty game, is that the correction should be bigger than this, right? The next correction. So if it is like this, we should expect a bigger correction. But for now, sideways to up, and just be aware of the $1.20, $1.27, $1.30 mark, where we might get some short-term resistance, big, the 50% pullback. Yeah, but XRP is looking healthy, and XRP always does well in bull markets, And overall, you can see that the overall trend is up. And now that the weekly momentum is up as well, we can be very, very bullish with XRP. So there you have it, top 5 Monday. But should we do a quick recap on Solana? Because we covered Solana was in the top 5 last week and it got bumped out by XRP. So let's have a quick look at Solana. Let's just see. Last week we said,
look at me.
Skip past this.
Great bullish behavior in a lot of the markets. If this is
Solana
a wave
was
1,
5 last week.
Watching my Solana videos, I haven't done one recently, but my previous one.
What we said last week was, Solana did this incredible move. And we called this move, the end of the wave 2 from $20 to $200. We pegged that, and that was like textbook Elliott wave and Fibonacci. And when it unfolds that way, and as long as you're consistently going with the edge, you should get that probability in your favor to be right more often than not and make buying and selling decisions based on Elliott wave and Fibonacci. And if you haven't already, take my free Elliott wave and Fibonacci masterclass. It's in the link description below. It just tells you how to read the markets like this. So with Solana, what we said was,
great.
It looks like we've got the first leg down. We've got this ABC correction, and we should anticipate one more leg down for 3 legs of a correction to finish off what we're calling a wave 4. So let's jump into a live chart with Solana. Let's have a look. All right, here we go. So the momentum on the weekly is now officially bullish. Let me just have a look. Let me just get a bit closer in. Almost bullish. So it's deeply oversold. The blue line has not crossed over the red. So it means we should anticipate maybe only one more week of sideways to down before the trend reverses. So Solana is looking very, very healthy. It's got a lot of positive things happening on the Solana ecosystem. But from a technical standpoint, what we're saying over here now is if we just get rid of this, this is no longer relevant. What we're looking at is this looks like the wave B, or what we're calling in that last video. We're saying this here, ABC. I think we said it in the video. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, this over here. We said an A, B, and then a C. It looks like this C has been confirmed, and we're looking for a further downside movement. So let's get rid of all of these. Yeah, because we've hit the minimum now. Now, it's not as impulsive because what we're anticipating for a wave C, yeah, because it hasn't crossed into this zone yet. What we should anticipate for a wave C is a really similar price action to a wave A. Yeah, so if this is a wave A, we should anticipate wave C to be quite similar in terms of price and time. So let's just quickly recap on a typical wave 4 zone. Let's just get rid of that as well. So typical wave 4s tend to be 38% of a wave 3. Right, and we tag that over here. Which is important to note. But what we were saying last week was, does this look like an end of a wave 4? It's possible because this high has been taken out, but it doesn't seem that corrective. It might be clearer on an hourly chart. Let's just have a quick look again. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look here. I mean, looking at it at second glance, it does look quite overlapping over here. So there's a reasonable chance that this actually might be the end of a wave 4, and we want to be aware of that. Because now looking at the momentum, we're either going to get a continuation from this point, or we are going to get downside movement. So we got some downside movement. Let's just look at this. Yeah, because what we said was this is not that much of a simple correction. When the corrections are not that simple and a bit more complex, we can anticipate that a wave 4 should be less than a wave 2. So in terms of time, so we should complete our wave 4 before the 10th of November. And I'm just looking at this with fresh eyes over here. What I'm looking at is this high over here. The price has gone below this point, so this would invalidate a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. So we're still in this corrective phase, and until we get another bullish reversal, the bias is sideways to down, and we should still anticipate one more leg. But what we can do also is the price of this leg down here. These are the two ranges that we want to focus on. We can get rid of these two. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this. And we got one other retracement, which is the external retracement. This is a confirming indicator. I covered this in the masterclass, by the way. I'm just doing it on the higher level point just to get the information across. $1.618 to 1.272. Yeah, so these are two pretty significant zones. If we can even get rid of this one. So if a low is going to be made, it's going to be either going to retest this low over here or down here. And if it coincides with the next bullish momentum reversal, that might be a good entry point. Again, the obvious thing that would say actually this looks like the wave 4 low is if the high gets taken out. But again, we're always looking for high probabilities. So I would still anticipate, just be patient for if it does unfold like this, A, B, C. If it does, we want to look for entry points over here for Solana if you're looking to go long with Solana. But the main thing with Solana is on a macro, if you don't want to get too detailed, you just want to look at the macro picture. If we just get rid of these. And we called this, if you look at the previous Solana video that we did, you know, got a nice wave 1 up, a wave 2 down. We called this down here. We've had this very, very clear wave 3. Looks like a wave 4, either an ABC or this is going to be the ABC here. We're not sure of that right now, but the probability will stay more towards this side at the moment. And then we should see a continuation for a wave 5. And that lines up with what's happening with Bitcoin, what's happening with Ethereum. So we should see a lot of bullish behavior with Solana. So there you have it. Top 5 Mondays. We covered it in depth. We just want to keep a week by week analysis of Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Cardano, and obviously Solana, which, you know, 10% movement here or there. The top 5 is going to change, and we'll keep an eye on that also. Let's finish off with a quote. Let's go with what we're going with today. Chapter 8 today. It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. That is Henry Ford. It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, take my free Elliott Wave and Fibonacci masterclass, and I'll see you very soon.